different from the years that have passed because we're finally going out. In fact, if you watch the channel, you'll have noticed that Nentara went out and made jalebis and looked fabulous doing it. And what that essentially means is that we're buying more clothes than we have over the last couple of years, certainly paying more attention to our wardrobe. Let's talk about this a little bit more, about the trend that has been seen in the clothes and the fashion space. We're joined by Anand Agarwal, the Chief Financial Officer of V-Mart Retail. Thank you so much, Anand, for joining in. Just want to start by asking a very simple question. What was the demand like in the past couple of weeks? And could you give us a sense when compared with the pre-COVID times? Are we back to those levels? And what's the outlook going forward?
Yeah, hi, good morning. And yes, I must say that the demand has been quite robust. And we've been seeing a very gradual but a steady build-up in the customer traction also over the past couple of months. And in fact, the last couple of weeks, particularly which were, highlighted by the big festive periods of Diwali and now Chhat, are also going on very steadily. There is a euphoria. There is definitely a customer trust which is now coming back. We were anticipating a third wave. In fact, with higher vaccination and no third wave, there is a significant increase in the amount of trust that the customer now has. And I will definitely say that he is coming back with a vengeance. And there is a much anticipated good air of euphoria in the stores, and we are seeing good traction. I hope the upcoming winter season, we've started with a good bang in terms of more chilly winters, especially in the north, and thereby we are also anticipating slightly better, let's say, demand coming in the weeks ahead as well.
Mr. Agarwal, I know a lot of people would be hoping for a not so cold winter. But having said that, if it works for you, I guess your shareholders will certainly be happy about it. Could you give us some numbers though? What are the footfalls like and what is the same store growth that the company is seeing currently?
The footfalls have actually come back to almost 80% plus levels, but one must also understand and appreciate that because of COVID, there's also been a slight shift in the consumer behavior. People now do not want to come in groups or large families as they used to come pre-COVID era. Now there is more focused buying, so thereby the number of footfalls is not really the right or the best comparison. I think the way that we look at this statistics is more the number of bills which are cut and also the conversion rates for the kind of footfalls that we get. But having said that, I think the sales, at least in the last couple of weeks, have definitely been very similar to what we saw in the pre-COVID levels. And even in terms of the same-store sales growth, we are looking at similar level of almost equal level of sales that we saw in the pre-COVID era during festive period. Our hope and belief remains that this should be sustainable. And we should not have any more jerks or any more upsets in the system. If things go like this, I'm sure that we should look at a much brighter quarter in quarter 3 to end with.
Sure. So Anand, can we expect a turnaround in your bottom line as well? Because all this optimism so far at least hasn't transitioned or translated into a bottom line increase for you.
No, it has to an extent, because see, what has also happened, if I look back at last quarter, is that while the expenses have almost come back to the pre-COVID levels, while the revenue is still not fully come back to the pre-COVID levels. And thereby the bottom line, although is showing an improvement, but I'm sure quarter 3 is the biggest quarter for the year, is also the most profitable quarter for the year. And I'm sure the way things are looking like, we should definitely see a better recovery and better profitability in the months ahead. As I said earlier, I think if we do not have any more upsets, I think, and if this remains sustainable, this customer traction, I'm sure profitability is just a outcome which will also follow through. There are definitely more challenges in terms of inflation. There are yarn prices which are going through the roof, and I think the first time in last 18 years we've been forced to increase our pricing, and that should also have some impact. But I'm sure with the pent up demand and also with the inflation going all around, these are adjustments which will also happen in the ecosystem. But I'm quite hopeful that profitability will also follow suit, and we should have better or almost near normal financials to report when we meet next.
Okay. Also wanted to gather what is it that you're anticipating in terms of where demand geographically is really coming in from? Is it the cities or is it the smaller towns which are shopping more?
Our sense is that tier 1 and tier 2 towns are shopping more. There is still some level of weakness in tier 3, tier 4. The metro and the larger cities recovery is much stronger. And so is also the confidence level. Our sense is that the income levels have not really gone up as much in the rural belts, and which is also getting reflected in some of the other sectors' results. If I look at the FMCG and some other two-wheeler sales, etc. But definitely, what we are seeing is the bigger cities are having a slightly better traction as compared to the smaller cities. And in terms of geographies, I think our core markets of UP, Bihar are performing much stronger. East has surprisingly not been so strong. Even in the Puja period, we did not see a lot of traction coming in from East India. But post Puja, beginning of Diwali period, we saw very good traction coming in from all around, especially in the north of India as well as the central parts of India.
Okay. Now, I guess one of the trends that has emerged over the past couple of years is the relative increase in the comfort of buying clothes online, right? So give us a sense of what the demand contribution is from those routes, and is it anticipated that it will stay how it has been in the recent past?
So I'm sure digital and online sales are here to stay, and they will keep increasing month on month and year on year. But having said that, while we also operate in the online segment, and we've been consistently growing in the online segment, but still the kind of customers that we address and the kind of product price points at which we operate, our sense is that online is still not a very large component of this segment of the market, where the average selling prices are less than 300 rupees. But I'm sure we will definitely see slightly more traction coming in the online also in this very large part of the market, as we see cost of deliveries and cost of customer acquisitions coming in line with the rest of the market. As of now, our share from the online business is roughly around 1%. But we have been, working very tirelessly and strongly to make it, reach up to at least 5% in the next, 2 to 3 years.
Talk to us about the unlimited store. What are the synergies that you're seeing, and what is the additional revenue that you're expecting from that end?
So unlimited acquisition was effective from 1st of September. So in the last quarter results, only 1 month of sales has got accounted for in our quarter numbers. So roughly around 7% of our sales in the last quarter, came in from these 74 stores that we acquired in South India. Going forward, our sense is, that business should account for roughly around 20% to 25% of our total turnover. That integration is going on very strongly. The numbers that we are seeing from that part of the market are also in line with our expectations. Our clear focus has been right from day one to integrate, both the working teams, the product portfolios, improve the product assortment, merchandising, and increase the sharpness of the pricing for the end customer. And we've been working towards that plan. And while we have a 1.5 year runway to achieve where we want to reach, but definitely the early signs are very positive. We have seen 2 months of operations. The sales numbers are coming in line with what we had thought that they would come at. The customer traction is also quite positive. there is no significant issue that we have faced in the integration itself. So we are quite gung-ho on the overall path and the overall integration that we hope to achieve. There are a lot of synergies that we have also identified, which we had earlier not really realized, and the biggest being cross pollination of products from north to south and south to north. There's a very strong product team that sits out of the Unlimited stores, which was while managing that set of stores, and that product portfolio is now getting transported into our North India and East India stores with very good outcome. And similarly, we are sending in a lot of very sharp price points products back to south, which is also getting some very good traction. So there are a lot of synergies, not just only on the product side, but also on the marketing, visual merchandising, and product side, which we will continue to leverage on as a group.
All right, Anand, thank you so much for taking the time and for sharing those details with us. Wish you all the best for those goals that you've set. On that note, we're slipping to a short break, and with news